Which of these scenes feel more real? This, or this? The first one is from a Hollywood blockbuster, the second is from an independent film, and the third one is just some CCTV footage I found on YouTube. So what is it that makes one feel more real than the others? Psychologists call this perceived reality. It's when our brains decide whether what we're seeing feels real or not. And let's take our first two clips. Since we have all seen a lot of films and TV shows during our lives, our brains make the assumption that what we're seeing is not real, it's a film. And that's because there are visual cues that we subconsciously decide are connected with images we've seen before. And it's just the same as with the third video, which is CCTV footage. We assume that this one is the most real, since we know that CCTV footage shoots continuous video of reality. But this doesn't mean that the worlds that films create are not believable. What really matters is if the film convinces us whether the world we're seeing exists, whether it has a sense of place or not. So let's look at two different types of locations for film. We've got real locations like the streets of New York or the rolling hills of Tuscany. And we've got fabricated locations like in Singing in the Rain or All That Heaven Allows. I admit these are of course extreme examples, but I just wanted to show the big difference with these films that are shot in a studio in man-made environments. But then there's also a third type of location. The locations that are used as a substitute for another location. We've seen Toronto or Vancouver step in for New York, or one of my favorites that most people don't realize is not the real location. It's Ari Aster's Midsommar. It's set in the rural Swedish countryside, but for me, a Swede, I immediately clocked that, hey, wait a minute, this is not Swedish nature. And when looking it up, yes, that film was shot in Hungary actually, which is understandable due to a number of factors such as lower shooting costs, but also when you're shooting a film that depicts a dreamlike Swedish summer, it's hard to shoot in Sweden for 3 months due to the fact that you can't rely on the weather to stay consistent during a longer shoot. It will be cold, it will be rain, it will be sunshine some days, so understandably they moved it south. But some directors just want to understandably shoot on location to get that immersive, realistic feel. But things can go wrong, and there's no more disastrous shoot than that of Werner Herzog's film Aguirre, The Wrath of God. Here they shot on location in the deep jungles of Peru. The director and the star Klaus Kinski famously argued and fought the whole time, culminating in Herzog threatening to shoot Kinski. 10 years later though, they decided to do it again. Back to the jungle to shoot Fitzcarraldo. First they actually shot 40% of the film with Jason Robards in the lead role and Mick Jagger as a supporting character. But after Robards fell ill, they decided to start from scratch with Kinski in the lead role again. And compared to the 5-week shoot of Aguirre, this on the other hand took 3 years to complete. And it's about a man dragging a steamboat over a mountain in the jungle. And in the relentless pursuit of realism, they actually dragged a steamboat over a mountain in the jungle. The indigenous laborers working on the film started despising Kinski and his violent outbursts, and a tribal chief offered Herzog to have him killed. This is all captured in the excellent documentary Burden of Dreams that followed the shoot. Anyway, this is what sometimes can happen in the pursuit of realism, and this is why many films in jungle locations look like sets, because it is obviously easier to shoot them there. Now, last year I went to New York, which is a city that has been portrayed on film more than any other city in the world. Everything from Hollywood blockbusters to low-budget indies have been shot there. And even if we've never been there, most people in the world have an idea of what the city is like. There's even one type of specific shot that films have used for over half a century to convey the busy streets of New York. It's a telephoto shot that uses lens compression to make it look like the streets are even more tightly packed and crowded than they actually are. And this type of shot just screams New York to me. The city is usually portrayed as loud, brash, violent, and there's so many different lives that intersect, from the wealthy people of Wall Street and the Upper East Side to other neighborhoods like Harlem, Queens, the Bronx, and Brooklyn. But how do you create a sense of place in a film? Well, there's 4 ways to do this. First of all, establishing shots, or wide shots. This is the most important part of creating a sense of place on film. We want to see where we are. We want there to be a lot going on in the background. We want to see the city, or the house, or the fields, not just close-ups. This can help you understand a place you've never been to, whether it is a city in India or a rural area in Argentina. Places you might never go to, but you can still see them and get an understanding for them. Secondly, real locations. No studio. Of course, there's amazing studios that can create incredible worlds, but for perceived realism, where you see every crack on the street, every board on a house, it needs to have been lived in for a while. It makes it feel real. Third, deep focus. We want to see what's going on around the characters. We want to see a city or landscape that feels alive, not just close-ups with a shallow depth of field. And fourth, long takes. Long takes can make a scene feel more immersive and real. When you remove the cut, you remove one obstacle that makes it feel more like a film, and you feel like you're in the scene. Similar to what you feel when playing a video game. So those were my 4 rules for creating a sense of place. Now, talking about experiencing a new place and really getting immersed in the culture. In the British coming-of-age social realism comedy Rita, Sue and Bob 2. It's from 1987 about 2 15-year-old girls that are both babysitting for a family with a young child. But you won't believe this next part. They're both having an affair with the father of the kid they're babysitting. I know, a very odd plot to say the least. But that's not what's interesting about this film. It's how they give us a sense of place. We're in Bradford, West Yorkshire in England. I've never been there and will probably not go for a visit anytime soon. But this film does something very interesting to establish a sense of place. First of all, the film is full of long takes, which makes you feel more immersed in the world. But what they also do are these wide-shot long takes following the girls around their area, from one place to the next, so that you get to understand how their world is built up. We get a fully objective look at their existence. We go from one girl's house to the next. We go on long walks by the estate. We have long takes of them up on the hill looking out over the city. This film, strangely enough, establishes a sense of place better than most, and it is because of these long takes that mostly follow them from a side perspective, just walking along in wide shots with deep focus showing everything around them. On the other hand, there's also the opposite. If you look at Marty Supreme, a period piece set in New York, it's mostly shot with a lot of close-ups and handheld camera, no Steadicam in sight. This does not show these long, languid shots of the environment. It's fast, it's gritty, but we still get immersed. So maybe it's not as simple as the 4 rules for creating a sense of place. Maybe it's more complicated than that. But realism in film is not just seen with your eyes, it's heard through sound design. And no one does this better than the master realist himself, Robert Altman. If you ever watched a Robert Altman film, you know what I'm talking about. The background noises almost drowns out the dialogue in many scenes, and you're becoming an objective observer, a voyeur because of this unique style. Many of his scenes also utilize long takes, often static shots in a wide format, similar to CCTV footage that we discussed earlier, so that you feel like you're spying on people having a conversation in a restaurant, for example, and you can just barely make out what they're saying. Now, going back to New York, like I mentioned, this is a city that almost everyone recognizes, but it also has so many faces, so many locations. It can be gray and wet, sticky and hot, dark and cold. And to create a place that's alive, it doesn't have to strive for realism like we talked about earlier. Sometimes a constructed reality works better than any other. Like in Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing, the whole film is shot on one block that they pretty much closed down for the shoot. This is one of the best New York movies ever made, and there's no Manhattan, there's no skyscrapers, just one block in Brooklyn. And it's not fully realistic. This has dreamlike qualities, the vibrant colors, the cinematography, the heat, the monologues, the confined space they're in makes it feel like a play. It's like they're on a stage or in a studio. Here they made reality look like a studio because of the interesting cinematography choices. I want to say that La La Land does something similar. The classic studio musical was often shot on big sound stages in Hollywood. This, on the other hand, takes it out onto the street and makes the reality look like a studio. It looks artificial, again with the colors and lighting. Now let me know what you think of sense of place in a film. Which films do you think really captures that magic of a place? Let me know down in the comments, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.